Hello, guys. I'm going to be doing today's live stream a little bit early because I'm pretty busy at the moment. As you can see, we have a lot of boxes right behind me, but okay. That's because we're moving here soon. Like I said, that's because we are moving, and today I'm going to be doing today's live stream a little bit differently. I'm going to be upstairs. Usually I do my live streams downstairs, but I don't know why. Just why not? Oh, hello, Dinorama. What was it again? Yeah. Page 51 of Jurassic Park. Dinorama, I just gave a bunch of information a little bit earlier, so can you wind a little bit and check out that information? Alright, I'm going to start reading now. Like I said, going to make this a quick stream. Okay. The tail showed 45 vertebrae. It was a young Procompsognathus. Could this X-ray be faked? I don't know, Grant said, but it's almost impossible to fake an X-ray. And Procompsognathus is an obscure animal. Even people familiar with dinosaurs have never heard of it. Ellie wrote the note. A specimen acquired on the beach of Cabo Blanco, July 16. Apparently, a howler monkey was eating the animal and was all that was recovered. Oh, and it says the lizard attacked a little girl. Too much cleaning. Oh, that's never fun. Yeah. Right. Where was I? I doubt that, Grant said. Perhaps Procompsognathus was so small and light we assume it must be a scavenger only feeding off dead creatures. And you can't tell the size. He measured quickly. It's about 20 centimeters to the hips, as big as a chick. You're basically in someone else's house. What do you mean, Dinorama Sculpts? How am I cleaning someone else's house? I mean, I am on my neighbor's lawn as like a summer job until I move. Oh yeah, and those pictures behind, ignore those. If you move. Oh. We don't close our house until June 3rd. Makes sense, or something like that. Moving, gotta clean it out so people will. Yeah. But right now we're just boxing stuff up so that we can get it. All right. Stressful time. I see you. Okay. Even a child would look pretty fearsome to it. It might be an infant, but not a child. Ellie frowned at the X-ray image. You think this could really be a legitimate rediscovery? She said. Like the coelacanth? Maybe, Grant said. The coelacanth was a 5 feet long fish thought to have died out 65 million years ago, until a specimen was pulled out from the ocean in 1938. But there were other examples. Australian mountain pygmy possum was also only known from fossils until a live one was found in a garbage can in Melbourne. Australian mountain pygmy possum. Australian pygmy possum. Oh, okay. But there were other examples. A 10,000-year-old fossil fruit bat from New Guinea was described by a zoologist who, not long afterward, received a living specimen in the mail. Could it be real? But could it be real? She persisted. What about the age? Grant nodded. The age is a problem. The most rediscovered animals were recent additions to the fossil record. 10 or 20,000 10 or 20,000 years old. Some were a few million years old, but in case of the coelacanth, 65 million years old, but the specimen they were looking at was much, much older than that. Dinosaurs had died out in the Cretaceous period 65 million years ago. They had flourished in the dominant life form on the planet in the Jurassic 190 million years ago, and they had first appeared in the Triassic roughly 220 million years ago. It was during the early Triassic that the Procompsognathus had lived. At the time so distant that our planet didn't even look the same. All the continents were joined together in a single landmass called Pangaea, which is extended from the north to the South Pole. A vast continent of ferns and forests with a few large deserts. It, the Atlantic Ocean was a narrow lake. Between what would become Africa and Florida. The air was denser, the land was warmer, there were hundreds of active volcanoes, and it was in this environment that the Procompsognathus lived. Well, Ellie said, we know animals have survived. Crocodiles are basically Triassic animals living in the present. Sharks are Triassic, so we know it has happened before. Grant nodded. And the thing is, he said, how else do we explain it? It's either a fake, which I doubt it, or else it's a rediscovery. What else could it be? The phone rang. Alice Levine again, Grant said. Let's see if she'll send us the actual specimen. He answered it and looked at Ellie, surprised. Yes, I'll hold for him, Mr. Hammond, of course. Hammond? What does he want? Ellie said. Grant shook his head and then said to the phone, Yes, Mr. Hammond? Yes, it's good to hear your voice too. Yes. He looked at Ellie. Oh, you did? Oh, yes. Is that right? He cupped his hand over the mouthpiece and said, Still as eccentric as ever. You've got to hear this. Grant pushed the speaker button, and Ellie heard a raspy old man's voice speaking rapidly. Heck of an annoyance from EPA fellow. Seems to have gone off half-cocked all on his own. Running around the country talking to people, stirring up things. I don't suppose anybody's come to see you way out there. As a matter of fact, Grant said, somebody did come to see me. Hammond snorted. I was afraid of that. Smart. There. That word right there. kid named Morris. Yes, his name was Morris, Grant said. He's going to see all of our consultants, Hammond said. He went to see in Malcolm the other day. You know the mathematician in Texas? That's the first I knew of it. We're having one heck of a time getting a handle on this thing. It's typical of the way government operates. There isn't any any complaint, there isn't any charge, just harassment from some kids who unsupervised and running around at the taxpayer's expense. Did he bother you? Disrupt your work? No, no, he didn't bother me. Well, well, that's too bad, in a way, Hammond said, because I tried to get an injunction to stop him if he had. As it as it is, I had our lawyers call over the EPA to find out what the heck their problem is. The head of the office claims he didn't know there wasn't any investigation. You figured that one out? Dang. Bureaucracy. Is that all it is? Heck, I think the kid's trying to get down to Costa Rica, poke around, get onto our island. You know we have an island down there. No, Grant said, looking at Ellie. I didn't know. Oh, yes. We we bought it and started our operation. Oh, 4 or 5 years ago now. I forgot exactly. Called Isla Nublar, big island, hundreds of miles offshore. Going to going to be a biological preserve. Wonderful place, tropical jungle. You know. You ought to see it, Dr. Grant. Sounds interesting, Grant said. But actually it's almost finished now, you know, Hammond Hammond said. I've sent you some material about it. Did you get my material? No, but we're pretty far from. Maybe it'll come back. Maybe it'll come today. Look it over. The island's just beautiful. It's got everything. We've been in construction now 30 months. You can imagine big parks. Opens in September next year. That's the month of my birthday. Really ought to go see it. It sounds wonderful, but as a matter of fact, Hammond said, I'm going to insist you see it, Dr. Grant. I know you'd find it right up your alley. You'd find it fascinating. I'm in the middle of, Grant said. Say, I'll tell you what, Hammond said, as the idea had just occurred to him. I'm having some of the people who consulted for us go down there this weekend. Spend a few days to look it over at our expense, of course. It'd be terrific if you guys give us your opinion. I I couldn't possibly, Grant said. Oh, just for a weekend, Hammond said, with the irritating, cheery persistence of an old man. That's all I'm talking about, Dr. Grant. I wouldn't want to interrupt your work. I know how important that work is. Believe me, I know that. Never interrupt your work. But you could hop down there this weekend and be back on Monday? No, I couldn't, Grant said. I've just found a new skeleton and yes, fine, but I still think you should come, Hammond said, not really listening. And we've just recently received some evidence of a very puzzling and remarkable find, which seems to be a living procomsignatus. A living what? Hammond said, slowing down. I didn't quite get that. You said a living procomsignated? That's right, Grant said. It's a biological specimen, a partial fragment of an animal collected from Central America. A living animal. You don't say, Hammond said. A living animal. How extraordinary. Yes, Grant said. We think so too. So you see, this isn't the time for me to be leaving. Central America, did you say? Yes. Where in Central America is it from? Do you know? A beach called Cabo Blanco. I didn't. I don't know how exactly. I don't know exactly where. I see him and said cleared his throat. And when did this specimen arrive in your hands? Just today. Today. I see. Today. I see. Yes. Hammond cleared his throat again. Grant looked at Ellie, mouthed, "What's going on?" Ellie shook her head, sounds upset. Grant mouthed, "See if Morris is still here." She went out to the window and looked out, but Morris's car was gone. She turned back. On the speaker, Hammond coughed. Dr. Grant, have you told anybody about it yet? No. Good. That's good. Well, well, yes. I tell you frankly, Dr. Grant, I'm having a little problem about this island. The CPA thing is coming at the wrong time. How is that? Grant said. Well, we've had our problems and some delays. Let's just say that I'm under a little pressure here, and I'd like you to look at the look at this island for me. Give your opinion. I'll be paying you the usual weekend consultant rate of 20,000 a day. That'd be 60,000 for 3 days. And if you can spare Dr. Sattler, she'll go at the same rate. We need a botanist. What do you say? Elliot looked at Grant and said, "Well, Mr. Hammond, that that much money would fully finance our expeditions for the next 2 summers." Good, good, Hammond said blandly. He seemed distracted now, his thoughts elsewhere. I want this to be easy now. I'm spending the corporate jet to pick you up at that private airfield east of Chowtow, or Chadu. I don't know how you say it. You know, you know what the one I mean. It's only about a 2 hours drive from where you are. You be there at 5 p.m. tomorrow, and I'll be waiting for you. Take you right down. Can you and Dr. Salary make that plane? I guess we can. Good. Pack lightly. You don't need passports. I'll, I'll, I'm looking forward to it. See you tomorrow, Hammond said, and he hung up. What do you want, Ryan?
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I am King Rex. Hope you guys are doing well. And this is Ryan Schlegs. Now he has snakes and spiders. Isn't that crazy? That's so crazy. And he knows the scientific names. He knows Bothrikes schleglii. And that's where the name comes from. Ryan Schlegs. Okay? I'll enjoy Ryan Schlegs.
I'll post the URL for you.
And then you got Python reticularis, the mainland reticulated python.
Oh, my uncle. Alright, Ryan Schlegs. Here, I'm posting you guys the URL for my uncle's channel. Go check it out when my live stream is done, yeah? Here, I'll even post it down. I don't know, just check it out when I'm all done, please. Alright, so I'm on chapter 8 now. Chapter 8's a pretty short chapter. I forgot. I'll read chapter 8 and then I'll have to set up another live stream for 9 and 10 another time, alright? Middays. Sun streamed into San Francisco law offices of Cohen, Strain, and Ross, giving the room of a cheerfulness that Donald Gennaro did not feel. He listened on the phone and looked at his boss, Daniel Ross. Cold as an undertaker in his d- dark pinstripe suit. I understand, John, Gennaro said. And Grant. Yeah, sorry about my uncle, really. I understand, John, Gennaro said. And Grant agreed to come. Good, good. Yes, that sounds fine to me. My My congratulations, John. He hung up the phone and turned to Ross. We can't trust Hammond anymore. He's under too much pressure. The EPA is investigating him. He's behind schedule on his Costa Rican resort, and the investors are getting nervous. There have been too many rumors of problems down there. Too many workmen have died. And now this business about a living Procomsa whatever on the mainland. What does that mean? Ross said. Maybe nothing, Gennaro said. But Hamachi is one of our principal investors. I got a report last week from Hamachi's representative in San Jose, the capital of Costa Rica. According to the report of some kind of new lizard is biting children on the coast. Ross blinked. New lizard? Yes, Gennaro said. We can't screw around with this. We've got to inspect that island right away. I've asked Hammond to arrange independent site inspections every week for the next 3 weeks. And what does Hammond say? He insists nothing's wrong with the island. He claims he has all these security precautions. But you don't believe him, Ross said. No, Gennaro said. I don't. Donald Jenner had come to Cohen Swain from a background in investment banking. Cohen Swain's high-tech clients frequently needed capitalization, and Gennaro helped them find the money. One of his first assignments back in 1982 had been to accompany John Hammond, while the old man, then nearly 17, put together the funding to start the Engine Corporation. They eventually raised almost $1 billion, and Gennaro remembered it as a wild ride. Hammond's a dreamer, Gennaro said, a potentially dangerous dreamer. Ross said, "We should never have gotten involved. What is our financial position?" The firm, Gennaro said, owns 5%. General or limited? General? Ross shook his head. We should never have done that. It seemed wise as at the time. Gennaro said, heck, it was 8 years ago. We took it into lieu in some fees. And if you remembered, Hammond's plan was extremely speculative. He was really pushing the envelopment. Nobody really thought he could pull it off. But apparently he has, Ross said. In any case, I agree that inspection is overdue. What about your site experts? I'm starting with experts Hammond already hired as consultants. Early in the project, Gennaro tossed a list onto Ross's desk. First group is a paleontologist, a paleobotanist, and the mathematician. They go down this weekend. I'll go with them. Will they tell you the truth, Ross said? I think so. None of them had much to do with the island, and one of them, the mathematician, Ian Malcolm, was openly hostile to the project from the start, insisted it could never work. And who else? Just a technical person, the computer system analyst. The review the park's computer and fix some bugs. He should be there by Friday morning. Fine, Ross said. You're making the arrangements. Hammond asked to place the calls himself. I think he wants to pretend that he's not in trouble, that it's just a social invitation, showing off his island. All right, Russ said, but just make sure it happens. Stay on top of it. I want this Costa Rican situation solved within a week. Ross got up and walked out of the room. Gennaro dialed, heard the whining hiss of the radio phone, then heard a voice say, Grant here? Hi, Dr. Grant. This is Donald Gennaro. I'm the general counsel for Engine. We've talked a few years back. I don't know if you remember. I remember, Grant said. Well, Gennaro said, I just got off the phone with John Hammond, who tells me the good news that you're coming down to our island in Costa Rica. Yes, Grant said. I guess we're going down there tomorrow. Well, I just wanted to extend my thanks to you for doing this on a short notice. Everybody at Engine appreciates it. We've asked Ian Malcolm, who, like you, was one of the early consultants, to come down as well. He's a mathematician at UT in Austin. John Hammond mentioned that, Grant said. Well, good, Gennaro said, and I'll be coming too. As a matter of fact, by the way, this specimen you have found of a what is it? Procomsignatus, Grant said. Yes, do you have the specimen with you, Dr. Grant? The actual specimen? No, Grant said. I've only seen an x-ray. The specimen is in New York. A woman from Columbia University called me. Well, I wonder if you could give me the details on that, Gennaro said. Then I can run down that specimen for Mr. Hammond, who's very excited about it. I'm sure you want to see the actual specimen too, perhaps? I can even get it delivered to the island while you're all down there, Gennaro said. Grant gave him the information. Well, that's fine, Dr. Grant, Gennaro said. My regards to Dr. Sattler. I look forward to meeting you and him tomorrow. Gennaro hung up. That's the end of chapter 8. I hope you guys enjoyed my live stream today. I had to keep it short and simple. Luckily, I did not forget it. Those of you who joined on, I would go back to the beginning of the video and try to watch it again. See you, Dinorama. All right. See you on the next live stream, which is Thursday this week. I'm going to be W stream. Thank you, Dinorama. So, yeah, Thursday I'm going to be playing Ark. And I'm still working on the Cretaceous video. It's just taking me a little while. All right. See you guys. Bye.